Thank you so much, everyone. Generally set me off before I even started. How on earth did I get here? That's the question that's been on my mind over the past few days, and I'm sure it's been on some of your minds too. In fact, I know it is because I have scrolled through Twitter. And it's a fair question. How can someone who first joined a political party less than 5 years ago now stand before you as its leader? I never saw myself getting involved in party politics, but at a certain point that changed, and I can trace that back to a night in Skibbereen. I was canvassing for a yes vote during the repeal referendum, and I was about to knock on my very first door. I didn't know how the conversation was going to go. I didn't know what to expect. I felt unprepared and nervous. A woman in her 70s answered. During the conversation that followed, she moved from a, I don't know enough about this, I don't think I'm going to vote, to a very firm yes. And I moved from feeling unsure and apprehensive to feeling optimistic and motivated. I learned two important lessons that night. I learned that the most effective way to change hearts and minds is to have open and honest conversations. And I learned that when Irish people are presented with a progressive alternative, there is a very good chance that they'll take it. At a time when the most extreme voices dominate online and disinformation spreads like wildfire, open and honest conversations are more important than ever. Because people are disillusioned, and why wouldn't they be? They're tired of governments stumbling from one crisis to the next, tired of broken promises and empty gestures, tired of being patronised and ignored. I stood for election because I knew that my generation was not being represented. Our voices were not being heard. So I knocked on more doors. I had more conversations. I was elected to Cork County Council by just one vote. Less than a year later, I was elected as a TD. Back then, the commentators and the established parties wrote me off. Now they like to say that I'm an outlier, but I know different. I know there are tens and thousands of other people like me who do not feel represented, who do not feel that politics is for them. I have a message for them. We need people like you in politics, and now is the time to get involved. Politics on Ireland is on the cusp of change. I can feel it, I think that we all can. But to get the kind of change that we want to happen, we need to vote for it. What does that change look like? To me, it looks like a fairer Ireland, where it's easier for people to get by, where keeping a roof over your head or putting meals on the table isn't such a struggle for so many. An Ireland where parents don't have to choose between heating their homes or feeding their children. An Ireland where young families can buy homes in their community, where healthcare and disability services do not depend on the depth of your pockets, where parents and grandparents don't have to watch a whole other generation emigrate. Progress is a collective effort. We cannot do it alone. We know that. That is the strength of the Social Democrats. In 2015, Catherine Murphy and Roisin Shortall recognised the need for a new progressive party in Ireland. A party that was committed to social democratic principles. Less than 8 years later, we have an amazing parliamentary team. We have 21 councillors and 35 branches across the country. The Social Democrats are a party for a new era, not defined by old loyalties, old politics old policies, cosy business connections or jobs for the boys. Our guiding principles are a fair society and a strong economy underpinned by honest politics. Trust is a key part of that. Building it and retaining it by rigidly sticking to our commitments. As a party, we have come a long way already. My challenge is to build on the foundation that has been laid by Roisin and Catherine. My goal is to lead our party to its maximum potential. And I'm unashamedly ambitious about that potential. Anything that I've done in politics, I have done to the very best of my ability, and leading the party will be no different. I'm excited and eager for the next phase of the Social Democrats. I am up for the challenge. I am determined to give it everything. Some will say that I'm too inexperienced for the job. To them I say, I have plenty of experience. I grew up on a small dairy farm in West Cork. I worked as a waitress through school and college, had to emigrate after the crash. I worked in disability services and saw the transformative difference that proper services can make in a disabled person's life. I have a master's in science and I've run a small business with my amazing mum. I may not fit the stereotype of a politician, but that's not a bad thing. And let's not forget that some of the most experienced politicians in the country bankrupted it less than a decade ago. Some of them, by the way, are still in power today. For that reason, I embrace difference. I'm not afraid to do things differently. I'm not afraid to ask awkward questions, to challenge the current way that things are done and have always been done. We cannot accept the status quo. We can't afford to. I'm a member of the first generation who will be worse off than our parents. An entire generation whose hopes and dreams have been narrowed and squeezed by the political choices of governments who came before us. We all know the problems that we face are immense. A grim milestone in record levels of homelessness now being set every month. Nearly 3,500 children losing childhoods as they grow up in emergency accommodation. Ever increasing numbers of people being locked out of home ownership. The highest healthcare waiting lists in the history of the state. Repeated failures to meet our climate targets. Struggling small and medium business owners wondering how to keep the lights on. So yes, the problems are enormous. I am under no illusions about that. But my message today is one of hope, because I know there are solutions if there is political will and real commitment. Social democracy means the state living up to its obligations, its social contract with its people, by refusing to outsource its responsibilities to the private market. It's about investing in public services, in housing, in education, healthcare, public transport and communities. It's about ensuring the right conditions exist for small and medium enterprises and industry to thrive. We know that a social democratic approach works. The most prosperous, inclusive and progressive countries in the world are social democracies. There is no reason why Ireland can't be counted among them. As Social Democrats, we want to live in an Ireland where homes and childcare are affordable, where children with disabilities get the services that they need, where pensioners can heat their homes, where farmers can sustainably and ethically produce food, and where our climate targets are met and SMEs are supported. To the Parliamentary Party and our councillors, I want to say thank you for your incredible work and unwavering support. I'm excited to lead our work together. To our members, I take my hat off to you. I know how hard it is to start a branch, how much time and effort you put in. I see how hard you are working and I appreciate it. We need your continued hard work and your commitment to reach our full potential. To my team of very committed family, friends and colleagues, I especially want to say thank you to Tara, Claire, Richard and Pamela. I wouldn't be here without you. Your tireless work is deeply appreciated by me every single day. I started this speech with a question: how did I end up here? And I'd like to end it with another one. To all those watching and listening who may not have seen themselves getting involved in a political party, I want to ask you to reconsider that. I want to ask you to join us. We need votes, but more importantly, we need people like you. We need more activists, more candidates, more people who want to work for a better Ireland. There's a lot of work to do, a lot of conversations to be had, a lot of doors to knock on. It's going to be challenging, exhausting and exhilarating, and I can't wait to get started.